Here we are, my first review. This one's going to be kind of hard to do. Look down here below, you can see this rating. It is rated M for mature, so just be forewarned before you start watching any of this. Some stuff will be spoiled. There is going to be some extreme violence and gore, of course, probably shown on the screen, as well as foul language that will probably be shown. It's only because it's in captions. I'm going to basically probably voice over some of them. But just keep that in mind, because that stuff will show up before you watch this, so view at your own discretion. We're going to basically go over the highs of Resident Evil 2 on this remake, what made it awesome, what made it great, what they probably could have improved on, what they missed. Also, we're going to go over the different price tags of the different releases of Resident Evil 2's re-release, why there's 3 different price points, the DLC price point, and also we're going to go over the future of Resident Evil 2 and probably the future of the series. So, let's get into this.
Hey, could you open the glove box?
Sure. There's a gun inside.
This is the old RE2. The one from 1998. 21 years ago. Wow, right? I should be showing the new one. This is what we'll see from time to time in my review to compare to, as well as for vets of the series or the old game. As I compare, you will hear me refer to Resident Evil 2 as RE2, or the series as RE series, Resident Evil 1 as RE1, etc., etc. I've been a huge fan of the series for over 30 years, and the series has been great ever since it's been around. I really hate spoiling any of the story, so just keep in mind that you'll see some gameplay from other reviewers or other vloggers that have shown some of this gameplay before. So again, welcome to my crazy review on this great reboot of Resident Evil 2. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It takes you back to the nostalgia of 21 years ago, revamps it, and just like totally kicks itself out the park completely. More so than it did before. The only reason why I say that is for a few reasons right here. I mean, check out this old clip. We're gonna do. So this is when Leon actually shows up, and he actually is going to the gas station. So this is the actually opening sequence of the game right here that you're looking at. From Leon's perspective as you start the game.
No one's around.
The wonderful thing about this is that it's got so much replay value. There's literally a list of things you have to accomplish in order to get artwork or even different character models. Currently right now I'm at Claire's second run. That's the way it works this time. Before it was called a zapping system. You go back through on your second run this time, and what ends up happening is that they pick up just as many items as the last character did. So you don't have to leave behind any items, because they're going to pick up different ones as they play through the second time. In order to get the full story, of course, you have to beat both actual scenarios. You have to beat your first run and your second run to get the true ending, which I have not done yet, but from what I've heard, it's phenomenal. The great thing about this is that it returns to form by actually bringing back the bosses, but it completely remixes it since it is a remake. You don't expect the same boss battles because it's not the same boss battles, even though in a sense they are. That's what makes this game great, and that's what makes it return back to what it used to be. It is a complete remake and a complete reboot. But, of course, with some of this stuff, it's going to be new canon to the actual series. So with this RE2, it's going to replace the old one. The other great thing is the map system.
if you look on here on the screenshot, the blue part is places I have already completely explored. The red parts I have not. Some items are even showing on there, which is great.
The old rooms do not look the same. They do, but they don't. Let's take, for example, I'm going to show you a couple of clips here of the library and, of course, the main entrance hallway when you first enter the RPD.
Leon, it's Marvin. I need you back here ASAP.
Are you okay, Marvin?
I've got something to
Sorry for spoiling some of that conversation, but currently, right now, this is the library when you play through as Leon. And we're going to transition, yeah, right here. This is Clara. She's running through the RPD as you first get in there. This is during my second run, though, currently.
For your unlimited ammo, be prepared to not shoot everything you see. You've got to learn to run. Running is your key to survival in this game. It seems kind of, you know, like a learning curve thing, but you have to do it or you're not going to survive the game at all. It's something that you need to do. Now, given that those are the great high points, but the low points of the games are far and few between. Like, they're barely noticeable, but they can be problematic. For example, there are way too many blue herbs. It's like you're playing Resident Evil 3 all over again, where you're trying to find all these herbs, and then all of a sudden, like, you turn a corner, you find a blue. Of course, a lot of people are complaining about the fact Mr. X can stalk the heck out of you. If these players are not used to this learning curve, the hardest problem is going to be if they ever do Remake 3, it's gonna be rough for you, because the Nemesis is just as bad as this guy. The Nemesis will find you at every corner and just annihilate you. I'm wondering if they do get to make that, though, what it'll do. The other problem that I saw, comparing the old game to the new one, Brad Vickers never shows up. He's on a poster, but that's about it. So I'm guessing they're saving that for possibly Remake 3. Other than that, time is your enemy. In the first game, the issue you had is if you had any first aids, you couldn't use them. It'd give you the scoring thing that was totally negative. It would give you like 1,000 points off, or something like that. And time would play against you as well. But in this game, time is totally your enemy. The worst thing on my time is when I actually played it as Leon, and I was beating it at 9 hours and 30 minutes. So this game can take a while if you're new to it. It can take a little bit. The only reason why it took me so long was because on one puzzle, it took me forever to just finally find the stairs to go up to just go get the thing. I think I ran around for an hour just for Mr. X to get away. That's the other drawback with Mr. X. So let's go back to him with him. Where does he come from? I mean, really.
So this part right here actually shows him entering in.
From 1998.
This is where he's getting released. Drops into the actual RPD. And... yep. Hello. Wait a minute. He ain't got no hat.
So other than that, that's all you have. Those are my only drawbacks. So go out and go get the game. So what's it going to cost you? Is that what you're saying? 3 different options. On those 3 options, you can either buy the game for $59.90. The second one's a deluxe edition. I highly suggest getting it because it comes with the DLC pack for free. You're going to pay $69.99. The third option you have, and this one's a doozy. It's $199.99. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. GameStop sold out of them quickly, day one, when you could pre-order this thing. I could not get it. I wanted to, but I could not come to the realization spending $220 of my hard-earned bucks to basically get it. Back when I paid like $100 for something like this, for example, when I paid something like this for, say, for example, I got Dead Space 2. Dead Space 2 came with one game, and it came with a flashlight. The flashlight looked like the gun. It was totally worth it. That's the other drawback that I have to get to real quick. Now, the only thing I really hate, and I have to go over this, I have a Resident Evil 5 Steelbook still from the PlayStation 3. When I rebought it for the PS4, I ended up taking the old game out, putting it into my PlayStation 4 case, and taking that PlayStation 4 game, putting it into the PlayStation 3 one, so it just looked like the same old thing. Europe is the only one that got that steelbook, not Americans. It's a little bit of a drawback, but it's not bad. So, that brings me to the DLC. The DLC is totally worth it. You get 5 costumes, 3 for Claire, 2 for Leon. Leon has this kind of nostalgic thing that goes to Shinji Mikami for the Evil Within game, and he looks just like Sebastian from that game. Or he can look like Rick from The Walking Dead. Totally great. And then of course Claire gets 3 ones, one where she looks just like, where she matches Leon as that costume. I believe they're both called Nor. And then she gets the Elza Walker costume, which of course for any of us fans out there that are vets that know about 1.5, Resident Evil 1.5, which was supposed to be Resident Evil 2's complete game at first, and they scrapped it. And then they brought in instead Claire Redfield as the kid from college who came to come look for her brother, to make it seem a little bit more, I guess, down to earth in a way, or just, you know, a way to tie it to Chris Redfield. So they have that costume, and of course they have her in a military costume, which is very nice. The other thing you get, of course, is the old soundtrack swap. I have not played with it yet, except I think I did it in the menus once, and I'm like, there's just no way. Soundtrack is amazing the way it is already. Don't change it. It's not worth it. I think I tried it for a few 10 minutes, and I'm like, I feel like I'm playing the old game, but I'd rather play with the new soundtrack. If you actually get the pack, if, say for example, you can't buy it, you want to go get the $59.99 game, and you want to pay the $14.99 either on your Xbox, your PlayStation 4 or PC, just to get the pack. If you do it that way, you'll save $5. You'll also get an Albert Wesker Samurai Edge with the pack. If you need an extra gun, you're not really going to need it if you know what you're doing going in and out of stuff. What does that bring for the future for us? Okay, so this is where things get really cool. If you go out, go get this game in about 2 weeks, February 15th, the Ghost Survivors are showing up. What are the Ghost Survivors? Oh, this is going to be totally great. You get to play as Kent Hondo, the mayor's daughter, and I think one of the other officers that came to try to kill William Birkin. I'm not sure which one. And of course, this game is so totally packed with everything. From what I know, I have not beaten the game, but I know that Hunk does make a return. Tofu is back, as we could see in screenshots that were coming out right before the game happened. So the future of the series is just unknown. But it's just so totally worth your time. It's totally worth your effort. If you're really willing to go back to Resident Evil 2 and go back to Racoon City and see the perspectives and see how they've changed, I'd say totally do it. Totally go buy it. But if you want my opinion for it, just do yourself a favor and go get it. So this is Crazy Gamer out with my first KraZview on it to tell you, go pick up this game. And it's about, how do you feel the series will lead? Do you think we'll get a Resident Evil 8? Or do you think we'll possibly get the remakes of the Umbrella Saga? What I mean by that is either we'll get Resident Evil 3, and then if we push enough for it, and then we'll get a Code Veronica. But I'm saying do not go without this game. It's totally worth your $60. You will not go wrong. It's definitely very scary. I mean, that's the great thing about it. You'll walk around and you'll expect something, and it'll be something else. Just like this. Put in my few little bit of sense to tell you, go get Resident Evil 2 Remake. See you again next time, either on a vlog or something.
Watching Crazy Gamer! Please check out these media outlets to keep up to date with his upcoming live streams, vlogs, and crazy crafts.
So leave a like and a comment down below.
Social media, all the links are down below.
Don't forget to leave feedback and slap that subscribe button.
Don't forget to click that notification bell so that way you know whenever Crazy Gamer comes out with a new video.
See you again soon on Crazy Gamer!
That's right, go ahead and slap that subscribe button right there on the left, and then check out these other videos that I have, and see you again next time on my next show here on KraZview.